Video is super important for real estate agents. The hardest part is getting started. So what I'm going to go through with you today is 5 things and ideas that you can do to get started on your content creation journey. Make sure to stay tuned through to the end of the video where I give you a bonus tip on how to actually get clients from that content. The first idea is a simple one, doing property tours. So this can be as simple as taking a camera and walking through lots of different properties and showing off the amenities that they have. Starting with the front of the house, going to the kitchen, showing the primary bedroom, going to the bathroom, showing the backyard, showing the amenities, showing the specifics. And if you want to get more specific, and I would argue that you do, you also want to have something where you add a personal touch to it. An intro where you're talking, an intro where you're introducing that property. And I will also say it does not have to be your property. You can ask plenty of other agents in your marketplace if they'd be willing to let you do marketing for their properties, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to say yes because it is free advertising for their property, and it's better for their sellers, it's better for them, and you get to use it as your marketing, which is ideal for everyone. So property tours are super simple. Take the camera, record yourself, record the property, done. Doing that shows the market that you're engaged with it, that you're doing stuff in the local community, and the people that are viewing your content will associate you and your brand with the properties that you are taking them on tours of. Idea 2 is also pretty simple, but doesn't really work unless you've done a little bit of business. It's called client stories. Now, a lot of people will say client testimonials, but I'm not necessarily as big of a fan of that because it doesn't add value to the person watching your video. If you're coming onto YouTube and you're looking to hear a story, you're probably coming here to hear a story, not some random person praising you for how great you are. So instead of saying, hey, I'm gonna take a client testimonials and shove 5 things that are great about myself in your face, what you could do is just say the entire story of a transaction that you worked on, from the beginning of how you met the client to the end of how you hopefully at the end eventually closed with that client. And not all of those stories have to be good. Sometimes people want to hear your failures. Authenticity does win. So just saying all of those specific journeys will also be telling people you're engaged in the business. You don't have to shove it down their throat that you're engaged in the business and that you're a real estate agent. Just saying a story of something that you had happen will also tell them that you're a real estate agent and you're active in the marketplace. Number 3 is one that I thought of kind of myself. I haven't actually seen this out there very much, but to me, a really important piece of content is actually going to be your process. One of the things that a lot of people don't understand is as you start doing a lot of business in the real estate industry, you realize that a lot of the conversations you have are the same conversations over and over again. How do you buy a house? How do you sell a house? What are your steps to buying a house? What are your steps with your client process? For example, when somebody wants to buy a house and use me to represent them, the first step for them is to talk to a lender. Then we have a consultation. We don't go to see properties, etc., but first we have a consultation. We do that buyer's consultation. From there, we start touring properties if everything aligns. But again, every agent should have a dialed in process, and creating video for that process can save you time, effort, and energy during the process of all of your clients. Say you get a new buyer that wants to work with you, send them the video. You get a new seller, send them an intro video that maybe has some interesting facts and a resume, a video inside of it that gives you an added edge to both scenarios and saves you time explaining what your process looks like And when you send them a video like that, it also makes the process feel like it's a more dialed in professional process than it is just you winging something, which will also generate more repeat business and more referral business. Most people are actually going to refer you business when they believe that your process is repeatable. They're not going to refer you business if they had a good experience, but they don't think that their friend might have the exact same experience. But if you have pre-done videos with the way that your process should work, then you're going to have an added level of confidence in your clientele base that their friends will have the same experience that they did and make them feel more comfortable in giving you those referrals. Number 4 is market updates, and I don't mean generic market updates. You see that from real estate agents all of the time. They get some sort of infographic from their company and they repost it. They just share it immediately. And the biggest problem with that is everybody in the entire market is seeing the exact same thing regurgitated over and over and over again. One way to make that a lot more digestible and consumable for your audience is to use the same statistics because they are what they are, but instead of sharing an infographic, hopping on the screen, being comfortable enough to explain those infographics, because let's face it, they're large tables, lots of data, lots of micro markets, percentages, ups, downs, whatever, curlicues. And the thing is most people that look at those infographics don't understand what they're seeing, because you say a price year over year inventory shifts, month over month inventory shift up 5%. What does that even mean? Just hopping on the camera, saying the same statistics, but then explaining what that means and how that affects them is going to do a couple things. One, now they understand what it is you're even saying. Two, it builds you as an authority figure because you're not just reposting generic infographics, you are explaining something. And when you explain something, you are now put at a level in the eyes of the client that you understand what's happening. And if you're the person that understands what's happening, they should use you to sell their house or to buy a house because you understand. The 5th idea is one that not every real estate agent can use, and that's listing videos. If you don't have any listings, obviously you can't use this one. But what you can do is focus on the others and the bonus tip coming up in a second that will help you get those clients, and from there, use this tip. Now, doing listing videos is not as simple as a property tour walkthrough. If you do a property tour walkthrough, it doesn't have to be yours. You just go through the property to get more content out there so that people understand who you are and what you do. Now, when it comes to a listing video, there's a few different ways you can go about doing it to elevate your brand. You can do a lifestyle video where you're walking the property doing stuff. You can hire actors. What I always would recommend is find a really good videographer in your marketplace and make sure that you align with them on consistent projects so that you have a consistent brand aesthetic as well. So a lot of the things that I see sometimes is when people go all in on doing quality, but then they use multiple different vendors, and now the quality is, maybe it's always good, but the feel is different. The color grades are different. The shifts are different. The transitions are different. The mood is different. And quite honestly, when you're doing video and you're building a brand, you want the mood and the feeling and just the entire vibe of the videos that you produce and project into the world to feel similar, so that you can create an ultimate brand identity around who you are and your core mission, vision, and belief systems. So it's time for the bonus tip. How do you get clients from doing video online? I just got a client from my online presence for a waterfront property, and I get clients online all the time, but I've done all of the previous 5 mentioned portions and ideas for quite some time now. But one thing that I would say is nobody's going to watch your videos if you're not authentic, not talking about things that you are truly an expert in. Number one, if you're not authentic, and you're not being who you are, people can sense that. Number 2, if you're not an expert about the subject matter that you're talking about, people can sense that, people know that, and they're going to whatever platform they're watching a video on to be educated, to be entertained, and if they're not getting one of those 2 things, they will not watch. And that segues into the third portion of the bonus tip, is make your videos as exciting and as engaging as possible, because the second that they start your video, they're looking for a reason to leave, and you need to give them a reason to stay. And that is why you can create a brand following. If you can get them to stay, you can get them to hear you, meet you, understand you, and then ultimately they will want to work with you. But if they won't listen to you through your video, they're never going to reach out to you from your video. So you got to make sure that the content's relevant, you're authentic, you're an expert in what you're talking about, and you stay engaging throughout the video and give them a reason to stay, whether that's entertainment or education. If you're looking for more real estate related content, from Agent 101 to branding, marketing, how to get into luxury real estate, whatever you're looking to do, consider checking out my playlists that have been created, or consider taking a subscription to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. If you have any comments or ideas of videos you'd like to see from me in the future, make sure to leave a comment below. I will get to every single one of them. I look forward to continuing the engagement of the page and helping all of you that see this video grow in your business.